Get ready for Real Estate Best Buys, brought to you by the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro, with your hosts, Jeff Tumbarello, Sandy Pastoor, and Jeff Popick. Buying, selling, building, financing. Jeff, Sandy, and Jeff have decades of professional service in all things real estate. And now, it's time for Real Estate Best Buys.
Good morning, Southwest Florida, and welcome. You're tuned in to Real Estate Best Buys, the place for real estate best buys. I'm Jeff Popick of Marco Island Realty.
I'm Jeff Tumbarello of Steelbridge Realty.
And good morning, Sandy Pastoor of Prudential Florida Realty.
And, you know, I'm going to start. I had an interesting thing happen recently regarding a for sale by owner, the FSBOs as we call them. And, you know, this might sound like I'm a conventional, typical realtor.
Really?
You know, I'm looking
You have glamour shots on your cards, Jeff?
I don't know what to do with that one. But I just got to say, you know, even when I sell my own properties, I generally will list them with another realtor. And some realtors think I'm crazy. My opinion is there's value, price versus value. There's value to the degree of separation. And it just makes sense to me. I mean, obviously, I'm a realtor. I can put a property into the MLS. I can get it across to the internet, but I still see value in listing it with somebody else. The saying goes, however the saying goes, the attorney who represents himself has a fool for a client. And I think there's value to having representation. So when I say this, you know, I'm not just saying it, I actually do it, and I'm a realtor. But I had a call from somebody who was interested in listing their vacant lot on Marco Island and talked to them at length, gave them my full arsenal of incentives, and I can be a little bit crazy in that regard. I sometimes give away the shop, but I really am passionate. I like to do it. Offered them a 1% listing fee. I offered to give the buyer a 1% rebate. They could cancel the listing at any time. I was confident I could sell this property. Their price was excellent, and I think within 30 days, certainly it would be sold. A few days later, lo and behold, I see a for sale by owner sign on this property. And not only was it the garden variety for sale by owner sign, you know, the red and the black sign, you get it wherever, Home Depot or Walmart. I'm willing to bet they spent $300 on this custom woodworked sign. I mean, it was a gorgeous sign. It's still relying on the one guy who happens to drive past who's looking for that property. And it's just, you know, I think when you're looking to sell a property or sell anything, you want that product in front of as many eyes as you possibly can get. I mean, there's a reason why I think Pepsi spends $3 million for 30 seconds during the Super Bowl.
Four.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I just read it in one of the trades. They were touting that they sold some spots for $4 million for a spot in the Super Bowl.
And it's, you know, it's because there are so many eyes looking at that product.
Well, it's top of mind. It has to be top of mind. And, you know, I was in broadcasting for a long time. Right. But in its reach and frequency and its consistency.
But they can make a sign and put it out in front of their factory saying, you know, if you're thirsty, stop in.
Well, I think our market, there you go. They're giving away free Pepsi. Maybe
there you go.
That's funny. That's a good way to put it.
But I think our market is somewhat unique. Unlike, you know, maybe a Rochester or a Des Moines or something where you don't have people coming for secondary homes, for a lifestyle move. You have people moving because they need a bigger house, they need a smaller house, they want a different school district, they have a job change, which takes them from one end of town to the other. You know, it's different. You need to reach out there. I mean, I can't even remember, probably can count on two hands, how many buyers I had from our market for our market, as opposed to other places in the world, let alone the country. I mean, last week alone, I worked with buyers from California, Connecticut, and Chicago. They're not seeing that sign when they're driving around. You know, it just doesn't happen.
And you know, when you put a property into the MLS with a click of a mouse, literally a click of a mouse, it'll be across the World Wide Web. You know, Trulia and Zillow and Realtor.com and for people who
and
are
real
really,
estate Best Buys
exactly. So
yeah, but that's some next level stuff right there.
But But what's interesting is it doesn't cost them anything to get it listed. And there is a public perception that if they're going to buy a property for sale by owner, that they're going to get it cheaper. So the net result to the seller is not going to be more. In fact, it's going to be less because they're going to sit with the property for a long time because they're waiting for that one drive-by.
Well, they're either. I know some sellers that'll do ads, and there's postlets, there's stuff they
and
can
they do open houses.
Yeah, and they do Craigslist, and that works. And you know what? Some people can do that, but what I've found is that as agents, we've got probably the best, most detailed data source, the MLS for sale, and I still have an incomplete picture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And what you did was set his price. You went in there and did all your hoo-yah and set his price. And he's going to go out and test the market. But I found that FSBOs are either way underpriced or way overpriced. And when I was an actively hunting investor, I would call every FSBO sign because occasionally you just found one that, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Worked. Yeah. So, but yep. I laugh at that whole mentality because, I mean, time is money. Selling a home is an insane amount of brain damage.
It's a lot of work.
Yep. Not to mention one little stupid box checked or unchecked on a contract, and now you're paying off $30,000 in utility assessments.
Right. Yep. Right. Absolutely.
So, and particularly if you've got a buyer. Now, I know one FSBO guy that thinks he's the king of all real estate. It's fun. I mean, I was talking about this for the show. I comped a house for $79,900. He told me, if you sell it for $129,900, bring me the buyer, I'll pay you a point. I'm like, I'm a broker, dude, not a market maker. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? It's awful hard to hoodwink somebody into almost 100% above market.
Not my first rodeo here.
But he's a grown man. He owns the thing. He's welcome to do whatever he wants to do. But
it just doesn't make sense. But it doesn't make sense. And if you define what you're here to do, if somebody says, you know what, I want to sell my property, well, that dictates to them or should dictate to them what their course of action should be. Mm-hmm. And going and spending money on a sign, it's just certainly not a custom woodwork sign. I mean, it was a gorgeous sign. It was amazing. If somebody wants to buy a sign, I would tell them to go call those people.
Well, but you know what? In his mind, he just saved 6% or 1% or 5% or so. Why not?
Yeah, but price versus value.
Yeah,
really didn't.
You know what, though? If there was a time to stick a sign in the yard and sell it in Marco, right now.
Yeah, but still not. I mean, why not get it in front of the entire world that's looking for that particular property?
I always laugh with you since you have such low self-esteem that you give away your money. I don't know why. I'd hire you at one point.
I'd hire
you're
you,
going to give away a point and buy somebody a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at the closing.
I'm such a slob that I just have to, give people something. I mean, you've got your brilliance, you've got your class. I've got nothing. So... And low self-esteem is very common among losers, So
I think we're all there, dude.
Anyway, so my recommendation to Pepsi is save your $4 million and put a sign out in front of the factory.
If you're thirsty, stop in.
And if you're thirsty, stop in. And Pepsi
I like the fact that they're spending that kind of money.
Yep.
It keeps the economy going.
Oh, yeah.
And I know when I was at CBS, it helped put my kid through college. So I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yep.
Or it's just think about how many what good they could do in the world for $4 million instead of 30 seconds at the Super Bowl.
$4 million for 30 seconds.
But if nobody bought the product, they wouldn't have any money to do it.
A lot of people are drinking Pepsi. All right, folks, that's our take or my take on FSBOs. You're listening
Jeff and I are both sitting there shaking our heads at you. It's just amazing.
I get funny looks while we're talking. You're listening to Real Estate Best Buys. We're going to take a break and come right back.
Of course, you're going to enjoy that free bottle of champagne that Aries Title gives to our real estate investor clients with every closing. But Aries Title doesn't stop there. You'll really enjoy the substantial discounts off closing fees Aries Title offers to our investor clients. Aries Title enjoys working with Southwest Florida real estate investors who help make this such a great place to buy, invest, rent, and sell. The staff and attorneys at Aries Title provide investors with insightful strategies and smooth closings. Aries helps with smart strategies like purchasing property in land trusts and LLCs. Aries Title offers leading-edge expertise in short sale transactions and courthouse foreclosure purchases. Aries Title is Southwest Florida's #1 choice and Real Estate Best Buys recommendation for expertise in real estate closings, title work, and ownership strategies. To find out how to get your substantial discount and your free bottle of champagne, call Aries Title at 239-530-7111. That's 239-530-7111.
Affordable Landscaping is the real estate Best Buy's choice for all your lawn and landscaping needs. Affordable Landscaping has been serving Collier County residents for over 16 years with the absolute best value in landscaping and lawn maintenance, and is currently the landscape contractor for the city of Marco Island. No job is too big or too small. Affordable Landscaping is your one-stop shop for all your lawn and tree service, irrigation, pest control, landscape design, and installation needs. Affordable Landscaping is reliable, on time, and offers quality services at affordable prices. Call Affordable Landscaping right now at 239-389-1468. That's 239-389-1468. No matter what your lawn maintenance or landscaping needs are, you owe it to yourself to give Affordable Landscaping a call. You'll save time and money and a great peace of mind knowing Affordable Landscaping is on the job. Call Affordable Landscaping for a free estimate now at 239-389-1468.
BudgetBlinds.com.
Ever gone to a store to pick out new window treatments? But when you finally get home, it seems they never look quite as nice as the picture on the package. Well, there's a better way. Budget Blinds, bringing our showroom to your home. With Budget Blinds, you can view many styles such as plantation shutters, draperies, or blinds, all surrounded by your decor. No more guessing. The result? A perfect solution every time. 20 years in business, Budget Blinds is the nation's largest window treatment retailer with a personal touch from local, knowledgeable consultants. And we go the extra mile. Free temporary shades, free removal of your old blinds, and free installation. And there's a reason we're called Budget Blinds. Best quality, best value, best service, all with your budget in mind. Plus our exclusive, no questions asked warranty.
Come discover Budget Blinds. For special discount offers, visit BudgetBlinds.com. That's BudgetBlinds.com. Or call 1-888-88-BUDGET.
Budget Blinds, a style for every point of view.
BudgetBlinds.com.
It's time to get back with Jeff, Sandy, and Jeff, the trio with insight into today's Southwest Florida real estate market. It's Real Estate Best Buys.
Welcome back, folks. You're listening to Real Estate Best Buys. I'm Jeff Popick of Marco Island Realty.
Jeff Tumbarello of Steelbridge Realty.
I weren't quite sure who you were there for a second.
And I think I'm Sandy Pastoor of Prudential, Florida.
We'd like to see some ID.
There you go.
All right. Who's getting us started off here? Tumbarello?
Got a handyman special 4-2 in Lehigh. It's 1603 Inez Avenue South. It's just popped back active. Only been on the market 3 days and already popped back active at $50,970. It does need some work. You're definitely putting HVAC, part of a kitchen in. This thing would pretty conservatively rent $795, $825 probably. Location's not bad for rental purposes. You know what I mean? It's because for tenants you want to have them close to where they go to work, close to the 75. But deals like this aren't going to last very much longer. And when I look at the taxes, $1,183 a year for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath built in 05. It's pretty cheap for taxes. I mean, the government's VIG's only not even $100 a month. So if you'd like more information, you can give us a call at Steelbridge Realty at 239-567-9838.
All right, Sandy.
The deal of the century here. I spent a lot of time in Fiddler's Creek in the last week or two, and this is from Fiddler's Creek. This is a foreclosure. It is listed at $177,600. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,237 square foot home with a 2-car attached garage. This is asking $79 a square. Which is, I mean, you know, you can't build anything like this. And this is beautiful. I mean, it does not have appliances. It definitely needs a kitchen. But other than that, you know, this is a steal. It's got a wood flooring throughout. Great opportunity for someone to live in Fiddler's Creek. And, you know, it's a decent-sized unit, 2,200 plus square feet. It has a lake view. Amazing. I was shocked when I saw this. So, again, $177,500, $79 a square. If this is an area you're interested in and something like this, I'd love to show it to you, and we can get it done. Give me a call at 239-595-0714.
All right, and I've got a little problem because the first property I wanted to feature was such a Best Buy that as of this morning, it was no longer available.
You know,
so this one goes in the trash.
Yep, I've had that happen many times.
It's really quite...
You double check before you walk in the studio, hey, it's gone.
Yep, but actually, I have a property that I think is a Best Buy. This is a multi-family. It's a duplex in Naples. Asking price is $159. There are not many of these anymore. For a while, they were all over the place. This one is $159 for a duplex, both 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's 1,800 square feet under air. The rent there, and these are always fully occupied. In fact, these tenants have been there, I want to say, for going on 10 years. Rent is approximately $1,500 a month, so $18,000 a year gross rent. $159 is the asking price. Units in good shape. What more can I say? So
get those people in a house.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, if you'd like more information, give me a call. Jeff Popick at Marco Island Realty, 239-450-3000. Tumbarello.
9004 Water Tupelo Road in Fort Myers. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,384 square feet under air. Built in 07 home in Reflection Isles. It's $75 a square foot for a home in a gated, amenitized community in a great location for $75 a square foot. You can't replicate it for not even $130, I would imagine. You know, if you want to go vertical in a development, even with how cheap land is today, I don't think you could. We've rented some in here, and we rented in a New York second. You know what I mean? It was kind of amazing. We had, you know, almost like we could have auctioned off who got to put in the application for the tenant we placed in there, because there's not a lot of rentals in there. If you'd like more information, you give us a call at Steelbridge Realty at 239-567-9838.
All right, Sandy.
A little bit different opportunity here. This one is in Quail Creek. It is a very large home on an unbelievably gorgeous property on a lake. It has obviously a pool and a spa. This is listed at $775,000. Truly the best buy going. 5 bedrooms plus a den, 5 bathrooms, 5,400 square feet for $775,000. This is probably one of the most beautiful settings I've ever seen in a gated community for a spectacular home like this. You can fish right in the lake. The 5 bedrooms also includes a den. Like I said, it's got 2 bonus rooms and a loft. This is truly a spectacular opportunity and a great home in Quail Creek. If this is something that you're interested in, it also has a 3-car garage, I might add, which is kind of important when you're looking at this size of a home. Give me a call. I'd love to show it. This is a spectacular property. Sandy Pastoor at 239-595-0714.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a break. Coming up next is our discussion with the National Association of Home Builders. It's going to be an interesting one. Stay right where you are. We'll be right back.
Opportunity is knocking. Become a member now. The Southwest Florida Real Estate Investment Association was established in November 2003 and is now an industry leader. The Southwest Florida Real Estate Investment Association has been on the cutting edge of data gathering and analysis of the housing downtrend and foreclosures. Our analysis and trend reporting has made us an expert source for the media and set standards by which the housing market is analyzed and trended within the industry. Our members are real estate investors, real estate agents, title agents, insurance agents, landlords, property managers, wholesalers, rehabbers, note buyers, hedge fund managers, bulk asset purchasers, foreclosure and probate investors, and people just like you who are looking to gain a competitive edge. Our motto is knowledge withheld is knowledge wasted. Join us and check us out on the web at www.swflreia.com. That's www.swflreia.com.
Hi, I'm Sandy Pastoor of Prudential Florida Realty's Park Shore and Ritz-Carlton offices. I'd love the opportunity to put my dedication, knowledge, and years of experience to work for you. Call me at 239-595-0714. If you want to buy or sell that beautiful home on the Gulf or on a championship golf course, I can help. I'm also certified and experienced in short sales and foreclosures with both buyers and sellers in this very specialized type of real estate. Today, more than ever, it's important to work with an experienced and knowledgeable realtor. Naples is my home and my specialty. For a free market report and other information, call me, Sandy Pastoor, 239-595-0714.
Hello, my name is Tim Ivey. I'm married and the proud father of 4 beautiful children. I cannot think of anything more important than their protection and safety. That's why I'm proud to speak to you about Aegis Microbe Shield, a state-of-the-art, environmentally friendly antimicrobial product which can be applied to all surfaces. It provides a permanent barrier against germs and microorganisms. This green technology was developed by Dow Corning and has been used by NASA, the NFL, and even the United States Army. And now it's available to you. My company, Microbial Block, is the exclusive provider of the Aegis Microbe Shield technology to all of Florida. It has been proven effective in homes, hospitals, assisted living facilities, schools, athletic facilities, and more. For a free quote, call me today at 239-300-7585. That's 239-300-7585. Or you can log on to my website at www.microbialblock.com. That's MICROBIAL block.com. Microbialblock.com.
It's time to get back with Jeff, Sandy, and Jeff, the trio with insight into today's Southwest Florida real estate market. It's Real Estate Best Buys.
Welcome back. You're tuned in to Real Estate Best Buys, the place for real estate best buys. I'm Jeff Popick.
I'm Jeff Tumbarello.
And Sandy Pastoor.
And now joining us is Mr. Bob Denk. He's a senior economist with the National Association of Home Builders. Always a pleasure to have somebody on from the NAHB talking about some interesting stuff across Florida and across the nation. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Recently, just in the last few days or so, you guys sent out another release regarding what you call the improving housing markets. It seems like just the other day, I think it was a couple of months ago already, but your index had expanded to 201 markets. Where is it now?
Now we're at 242. We added quite a few markets between our January and December releases.
That's incredible. So just from, I don't know, what was it, a month, 2 months ago that it was 201 to go to 242? Is there, as an economist, I mean, what do we make out of not only the fact that an additional 40 markets have improved, but the rate at which the number of markets are improving?
Well, you're right. We've seen a couple of very big jumps in the last couple of months. In our November release, we were at 125, and we had built up to that number over the prior year. We started, let's back up just a second. We started in September of 2011 with only 12 markets. We climbed steadily and got to 125 in November of last year, and then in December we jumped 76 markets up to 201, and then between December and January we added another 42. So what we're really seeing here is prices have been the key, and what we've been seeing in markets around the country is that home prices have stabilized and turned the corner. They've started to move up, and that's really what's responsible for adding the leaps and bounds of markets that we've added in the last couple of months.
Now, was it a specific area of the country, or is it universal throughout the country?
No, the best news about this is that it is very widely dispersed across the country. We're seeing all of the markets sort of turn it. We're seeing lots of the markets turning the corner, and it's both the ones that were some of the hardest hit markets around the country, as well as some of the ones that weren't beaten down so bad. So we're seeing very broad-based geographic improvement around the country. Now, it's important to say it is improvement. We're not talking about all of these markets are back to normal, back to 100%, but what we're really trying to do with this index is track markets that are sort of turning the corner, hitting bottom, turning around, and showing signs of improving. It's the Improving Markets Index.
How many criteria do you use to establish an improving market?
3. To establish an improving market, we take a look at the building activity with single-family building permits. We take a look at the house prices. There's the Freddie Mac has a house price index that tracks these markets, and we look at employment. And we think those are 3 indicators that give you a feel for both housing, how housing is doing, but the broader economy in that local area, and the combination of a turnaround in housing and the general market, or the labor market, gives us the sense that we really have hit bottom. We really have turned a corner, that this improvement is sustainable, both in the housing indicators that we're seeing, but in the broader economy that's shown by the employment.
So it seems like the train has left the station now, or maybe to mix metaphors, but the pendulum now is clearly starting to swing the other way, and I think we're gaining steam.
Well, and I think as importantly, I have another question, if I may, is do you see sustainability in these markets month to month, or do you see them falling off the wagon and others coming on? And I mean, I would think the majority of them obviously are sustaining, but that could be changing as the markets change.
Well, one of the components of the index, we track these three indicators, the permits, the prices, and the employment, but we also have sort of a threshold test that what we have to see is hitting bottom and then improvement. You have to be sort of out of your trough, past your trough, for at least 6 months. That combination of we're looking at more than one thing. We're looking at the three indicators, but we're also holding you to improvement over the course of 6 months. That's what we do to try and capture sustainability. The monthly numbers in some of these indicators can be pretty volatile, and so we sort of put the 6 month threshold here. Right. Your improvement has to have legs that are at least 6 months long.
Yeah, that's good. That seasoning is
exactly.
that definitely adds some teeth to this, as opposed to a blip on the radar screen, and then it vanishes. So that's good. And Bob, I think there are 360 markets that you guys have created or track. Is that correct?
361.
361. So we're now 242 of 361. So in round numbers, that's what, 60%, 2/3 are now improving markets. That's pretty formidable, considering where we've been
a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly the point that I want to make, that we started this thing in September of 2011 with only 12 markets on. Now we're at 242, and that means about 2/3 of the markets have sort of turned the corner or showing some improvement.
So what do we attribute this to? I mean, I understand the parameters you use, but is it a case of the real estate helping the economy? Is it or is it the other way? Is it the economy now helping the real estate, or is it just feeding on itself? I mean, is there a way to sum that up easily?
Well, in this case, it's unusual. They're a little bit separated. That over the course of the last year, we've seen some real uncertainty in the broader economy. The labor market has sort of moved in fits and starts up and down. The GDP growth has moved up and down a little bit. In contrast to that, the housing markets have had a very good 2012, that in spite of the sort of volatility in the broader economy, the housing markets really have shown steady improvement in the 2012 numbers. And so the housing markets really seem to be improving in spite of weakness in the broader economy.
That's interesting. Maybe just pent-up demand. People have been sitting on the sidelines for quite a while, and people
it's become affordable too. And don't ever underestimate, when it's affordable and sustainable, it works. And we're really, this is the functioning housing market after a mania. Yep, truly.
Well, Bob, it's great information. Always a pleasure to have the National Association of Home Builders on the show. I want to thank you for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, folks. The National Association of Home Builders recognizes housing and housing providers as the strength of America. We love bringing them to you. If you have any questions or comments for Bob or anybody at the National Association of Home Builders or any of us here at Real Estate Best Buys, shoot us an email at 411@realestatebestbuys.com. That's 411@realestatebestbuys.com. We're going to take a break and come back after this.
There's a wise old saying, you cannot build a solid structure on a shaky foundation. Nowhere is this truer than when it comes to the construction of your next house or commercial building. Often overlooked, concrete is one of the most important parts of the building process, so be sure to call the best in concrete construction. General Concrete Corporation. General Concrete builds slabs that are level, walls that are plumb, and buildings that are square. This will save you time, money, and headaches now and well into the future. Call General Concrete at 239-571-1100 for a free quote on any size job. New homes or commercial buildings, remodels, additions, even patios and sidewalks. General Concrete gets it done right the first time. Call General Concrete now at 239-571-1100. That's 239-571-1100.
Of course, you're going to enjoy that free bottle of champagne that Aries Title gives to our real estate investor clients with every closing. But Aries Title doesn't stop there. You'll really enjoy the substantial discounts off closing fees Aries Title offers to our investor clients. Aries Title enjoys working with Southwest Florida real estate investors who help make this such a great place to buy, invest, rent, and sell. The staff and attorneys at Aries Title provide investors with insightful strategies and smooth closings. Aries helps with smart strategies like purchasing property in land trusts and LLCs. Aries Title offers leading-edge expertise in short sale transactions and courthouse foreclosure purchases. Aries Title is Southwest Florida's #1 choice and Real Estate Best Buy's recommendation for expertise in real estate closings, title work, and ownership strategies. To find out how to get your substantial discount and your free bottle of champagne, call Aries Title at 239-530-7111. That's 239-530-7111.
In today's competitive real estate market, timing is everything. Steelbridge Realty LLC is a licensed real estate brokerage headquartered in Lee County that utilizes cutting-edge marketing techniques to offer solutions in today's market. Steelbridge Realty's group of professionals have decades of experience and have navigated through many business cycles. If you own real estate that you're thinking of selling, we would be happy to provide you with a free competitive market analysis. If you have any general questions about buying or selling land, residential or commercial real estate in Florida, call Steelbridge Realty at 239-567-9838. That's Steelbridge Realty at 239-567-9838. Or you can check us out on the web anytime, day or night at www.lee-county-homes.com. That's www.lee-county-homes.com.
It's time to get back with Jeff, Sandy, and Jeff, the trio with insight into today's Southwest Florida real estate market. It's Real Estate Best Buys.
Welcome back, folks. You're listening to Real Estate Best Buys, the place for real estate best buys. I'm Jeff Popick of Marco Island Realty.
I'm Jeff Tumbarello of Steelbridge Realty.
And Sandy Pastoor, Prudential Florida Realty.
And let's get into it. Who's got a best buy?
4511 Southeast 8th Place in Cape Coral, Florida. It's a 2-2, but I'm pretty sure it's got a den. But a very nice home, new kitchen, hardwood floors. Where it's at in the Cape, the assessments are paid. Very close to the water parks. It's a very, very nice place. We actually have a client that has a rental in here that's a great, great rental as well. It rents in a New York heartbeat. So it's listed at $97.9, $87 a square foot. But from what the pictures see, you pretty much show up with your TV and your toothbrush, and you're ready to go. Particularly as a retiree, 2-2 is great because kids can't really move in with you.
All right.
So it's always something to think about. You really
and if
don't
you have no teeth, you don't even need to bring your toothbrush.
Amen to that.
So.
But if you're, as a retiree, you really don't want to buy a 4-bedroom house because all you're doing is inviting everybody you're trying to escape from to come live with you in Florida. So if you'd like more information, you can give us a call at Steelbridge Realty at 239-567-9838.
And as you always say, what are you here to do?
What are you
here to retire, which is part of that get away from all those people.
Well, it's funny because I talk about that all the time with buyers that come down here. It's like, do you really want a 4-bedroom home?
Yep.
If you do, that's great. But
if you don't,
you buy a home in Florida. You never knew who your friends would be.
That's right.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yep.
So let's just go to a 3-bedroom plus den. 2-bath. I know this is a beautiful condo in St. Kitts, which is right in the heart of Pelican Bay. I actually showed this week. It is on the 4th floor. So those of you that are worry about how high a fireman's ladder will go, or have a little claustrophobia with heights. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Anyway, however, even on this floor, you can still see the Gulf of Mexico and the spectacular sunsets, which are just amazing. This is a beautiful home, very livable. It's got tile in the main living areas, which is a nice benefit, because a lot of these don't. They have carpet, of course. St. Kitts is currently undergoing beautiful renovations and should be finished by the end of the month. From what I understand, there's no assessment, so there's no worry about that going into a building like this. And then you've got all the benefits and pluses and amenities of beautiful Pelican Bay. So if this is something you're interested in, this is listed at $575,000, which is absolutely one of the best, if not the best buy on the Gulf right now, with a view, with this size, and the condition of this particular condo. Give me a call, 239-595. 0714. I'm losing my voice. I got so excited.
All right. Folks, I've got a true, by any definition, a true Best Buy on Marco, and I'm going to tell you why. This is 741 Barfield Drive. This is direct access home, over 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. So if you can have a good excuse to not let people come down from wherever they're coming from. So that's one good reason to buy this property.
One for you, one for your mate, one for your dog. You
don't want it to be too comfortable.
Well, how long do you want them to stay? That's the question.
But this lot is
large.
Like
fish. After 3 days, it starts to stink.
There you go.
My mother used to say that. Visitors are like fish. They both start to stink after a couple of days. So anyway, this is a
wise
large
woman, your mother.
A large lot.
So happy my in-laws don't listen to this show.
So you can put a tent out there so people can come and visit and not be too comfortable.
Or I'll just
and if
sleep
they
in
do
the
smell
tent
like fish, they're out there anyway. So it's
just you go sleep in the tent. It's quiet out there.
There you go. All right. So nonetheless, 741 Barfield, 1,500 square feet and then some. Direct access, very fast out to the Gulf. $369,000 is the asking price. Now, this is a direct access. The sewer assessment on Marco generally runs $15,000 to $20-something thousand, has been paid. This is the lowest price by far direct access home on Marco. At $369,000. The next one is $399,000, and then they shoot up from there. I'm looking at one piece of paper with the listings of the direct access homes on Marco, and on just this one sheet, it goes from $369,000 up to $774,000. So this is a Best Buy for many reasons. And this one won't be around very long. So if you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you don't want too many visitors, this one's the one for you. Give me a call, 239-450-3000. And I think we need to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Best Buy. Stay tuned.
Of course, you're going to enjoy that free bottle of champagne that Aries Title gives to our real estate investor clients with every closing. But Aries Title doesn't stop there. You'll really enjoy the substantial discounts off closing fees Aries Title offers to our investor clients. Aries Title enjoys working with Southwest Florida real estate investors who help make this such a great place to buy, invest, rent, and sell. The staff and attorneys at Aries Title provide investors with insightful strategies and smooth closings. Aries helps with smart strategies like purchasing property in land trusts and LLCs. Aries Title offers leading-edge expertise in short sale transactions and courthouse foreclosure purchases. Aries Title is Southwest Florida's #1 choice and Real Estate Best Buy's recommendation for expertise in real estate closings, title work, and ownership strategies. To find out how to get your substantial discount and your free bottle of champagne, call Aries Title at 239-530-7111. That's 239-530-7111.
Looking for tenants? You should know that the most important part of property management is qualifying tenants, yet many overlook this vital step in the process. Michael Lyons with Jeff Popick and Associates Real Estate Services specializes in property management. In fact, he currently manages over 400 homes. He's a licensed real estate agent and also licensed as a condo association manager. Additionally, Michael is completely fluent in Spanish. Michael Lyons has resided in Southwest Florida his entire life and enjoys doing property management. If you need help managing your home, or just want a tenant placed, call 239-560-6164. That's 239-560-6164. Or visit his website at www.swflpropertymanager.com. That's swflpropertymanager.com.
Hi, I'm Sandy Pastoor of Prudential Florida Realty's Park Shore and Ritz-Carlton offices. I'd love the opportunity to put my dedication, knowledge, and years of experience to work for you. Call me at 239-595-0714. If you want to buy or sell that beautiful home on the Gulf or on a championship golf course, I can help. I'm also certified and experienced in short sales and foreclosures with both buyers and sellers in this very specialized type of real estate. Today, more than ever, it's important to work with an experienced and knowledgeable realtor. Naples is my home and my specialty. For a free market report and other information, call me, Sandy Pastoor, 239-595-0714.
It's time to get back with Jeff, Sandy, and Jeff, the trio with insight into today's Southwest Florida real estate market. It's Real Estate Best Buys.
Welcome back, folks. You're listening to Real Estate Best Buys, the place for real estate best buys. I'm Jeff Popick of Marco Island Realty.
I'm Jeff Tumbarello of Steelbridge Realty.
And Sandy Pastoor of Prudential Florida Realty.
And now we're going to be talking taxes. It's interesting, actually. Right now, I mean, there are people who can't even file returns because we're not really sure what's happening yet. Right. So it's kind of bizarre. Joining us now is Joe Striegel. He's with Stromer and Company, a certified public accountant firm. Joe, thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
So actually, just to start, I mean, can people file yet? Or what are people to do who, unlike me, want to be early birds?
Okay, with the individuals right now, there is a delay because Congress took the sweet time in passing the tax rules. The latest delay I saw that the IRS is saying is somewhere between January 28th and January 30th will be the first round of being able to file electronically for the returns.
All right. So you kind of hope that, the government would have things in order, before.
Well, if you think you're getting money back, that's kind of unfair too.
Yeah, no kidding.
But a lot of this is unfair, but that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So things are changing. This is the Wild West. Certainly on the tax front, it's the Wild West. And as I understand it, there's a new tax that's going to be imposed on investment income, which affects us certainly here in the real estate category. Can you explain some of this?
Yeah, Jeff. In 2013, there's a new Medicare tax on net investment income of 3.8%. Now, that 3.8% Medicare tax will affect any individuals who have modified adjusted gross income over $200,000 if they're single, or $250,000 if they're filing a married filing joint return. This net investment income includes gross income from interest, dividends, royalties, rents, net gains from the sale of property, and gross income from all passive activities.
3.8%.
Notice he said passive activities, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to define that, actually? Because that's an interesting point, too.
A passive activity?
Yep.
Okay, a passive activity, a lot of individuals will be receive a K-1 from a partnership or something that their investors put them into for investment purposes. Because they're not operating into day-to-day function of that activity, it falls under the passive rules, and so therefore it's considered a passive activity. The same thing with the rental. If you have individuals who purchase properties and they rent the properties, those rental properties, for the majority of the people, are considered a passive activity. So any type of income that is going to be derived from these passive activities is going to result in that 3.8% Medicare tax if the individual is above the $200,000 or $250,000 threshold.
Okay. So this Medicare tax, this is, can we call it Obamacare tax? I mean, is that essentially what this is?
Yeah, it's essentially what it is.
All right.
No, that's what it is.
It is what it is.
Let's not mess around here. That's exactly what it is.
All right.
And, the old days of doing owner carry to pay less taxes are now not nearly as attractive.
So for the people who are willing to work and be productive, we have to buy our insurance, and then we also have to buy the other people's insurance who aren't willing to work. Is that pretty much sum it up there, Tumbarello?
I don't really want to get into this because we're going to really go off into a tangent.
All right. So, Joe, so if this tax applies to the sale of real estate, are people subject to that 3.8% on the sale of real estate?
Yes, they're subject to the 3.8 tax on the sale of real estate. Now, if it was their primary residence and an individual owned their home 2 out of the last 5 years, okay, the Section 121 exclusion of the $250,000 for a single individual and $500,000 for a married filing joint couple would still apply. So, in an example, if you had an individual that sold his property for $500,000 and he purchased it for $250,000 and he's single, he can elect, because he lived in the home 2 out of the last 5 years as his primary residence, he could take the $250,000 exclusion against the income, and so therefore no money would be taxed at the 3.8% Medicare tax. And if we use the same scenario, but instead he sells the property for $550,000 and his cost basis was $250,000, he would have a gain of $300,000. Again, the same scenario, he'd have the $250,000 exclusion, so he would have a gain on that property of $50,000, and that gain of $50,000 would be subject to the 3.8% tax.
All right.
You know what nobody's put together on this? This is the biggest marriage penalty in history. Am I wrong?
Yes,
no,
it is.
This is the biggest marriage, we're doing this to save the middle class. So we're imposed the biggest marriage penalty in history to save the middle class.
That's what you call irony, isn't it?
No, it's a plan.
It's a plan. Mm-hmm. All right. It's interesting. Sandy is taking notes.
I have a question.
Everybody has to get divorced if you're
there
successful.
You go.
All right. Go ahead, Sandy.
But then only lawyers make money then.
Yeah.
So
it's their fault.
If let's say you make $100,000 a year. Okay. So none of that applies to you?
No, because your modified adjusted gross income, when you take into consideration your income, any of your interest, dividends, any of your passive activity income, your gain. So in your case, if a person has a W-2 income of $100,000 and then they had a $50,000 gain from the sale of the property after they took their exclusion, they would have $150,000 of modified adjusted gross income, provided no interest, no dividends, and no other income. Because they're under the $200,000, none of that $50,000 would be subject to the 3.8 tax.
But if they made $100,000 and they made $300,000 on their home sale,
yes, then they would be over at $400,000, and then there would be a calculation of which is the higher.
Just checking.
So they would look at it and say, if you got $350,000 minus the $200,000, you got $150,000. Or they would say, what is the cap gain? The cap gain is $50,000. So the cap gain being lower, they would only pay it on the $50,000, not the $150,000 of income.
Okay.
All right, we got that.
Got it.
And amazingly, we're already out of time. Joe, I want to thank you for stopping, but we've got to get you back because as this unfolds, it's quite a maze of intricacies. So, again, thanks for stopping in.
That's why you hire CPAs,
Jeff, thanks for having me, and I look forward to getting back on and go through some more stuff coming up.
Folks, you've been listening to Joe Striegel of Stromer & Company. If you own a home, if you sell a home, buy a home, live in a home, you might want to get some professional advice. Joe would be a good guy to call. You can reach him at 239-449-4771. And we for sure will have him back on the air. So anyway, you're listening to Real Estate Best Buys. We're going to take a break and come right back. Stay tuned.
Looking for tenants? You should know that the most important part of property management is qualifying tenants, yet many overlook this vital step in the process. Michael Lyons with Zivkovic and Associates Real Estate Services specializes in property management. In fact, he currently manages over 400 homes. He's a licensed real estate agent and also licensed as a condo association manager. Additionally, Michael is completely fluent in Spanish. Michael Lyons has resided in Southwest Florida his entire life and enjoys doing property management. If you need help managing your home or just want a tenant placed, call 239-560-6164. That's 239-560-6164. Or visit his website at www.swflpropertymanager.com. That's swflpropertymanager.com.
Hi, this is Tim with Microbial Block. a service provider of the Aegis Microbe Shield technology. It's an antimicrobial spray that, when applied, becomes a part of whatever surface you are applying it to. It forms a microscopic layer of pins that carry an electrical charge, and when bacteria or germ-causing microorganisms come in contact with this layer of pins, it pops like a balloon. Since it's a mechanical kill of the microorganism and not a chemical kill, the layer of pins remain on the surface to kill again. This is a green technology, so it is safe for use in any application, whether it is at home, work, school, nursery, church, or at the mall. If you see Microbial Block's green and blue shield, you know you are being protected from germs. Microbial Block, active defense against germs. Call us today at 239-300-7585 or check us out on the web at microbialblock.com. That's MICROBIAL block.com. Microbialblock.com.
Affordable Landscaping is the real estate Best Buy's choice for all your lawn and landscaping needs. Affordable Landscaping has been serving Collier County residents for over 16 years with the absolute best value in landscaping and lawn maintenance, and is currently the landscape contractor for the city of Marco Island. No job is too big or too small. Affordable Landscaping is your one-stop shop for all your lawn and tree service, irrigation, pest control, landscape design, and installation needs. Affordable Landscaping is reliable, on time, and offers quality services at affordable prices. Call Affordable Landscaping right now at 239-389-1468. That's 239-389-1468. No matter what your lawn maintenance or landscaping needs are, you owe it to yourself to give Affordable Landscaping a call. You'll save time and money and a great peace of mind knowing Affordable Landscaping is on the job. Call Affordable Landscaping for a free estimate now at 239-389-1468.
It's time to get back with Jeff, Sandy, and Jeff, the trio with insight into today's Southwest Florida real estate market. It's Real Estate Best Buys.
Welcome back, folks. You're listening to Real Estate Best Buys, the place for real estate Best Buys. I'm Jeff Popick of Marco Island Realty.
I'm Jeff Tumbarello of Steelbridge Realty.
And Sandy Pastoor of Prudential Florida Realty.
All right, Tumbarello, get us started here. All right,
okay, there we go. 4001 Simon Road. I've talked about this before. We actually had it pending. There was an easement issue that was found in a due diligence. That's fixed. Price just reduced, $429. That's $42.56 a square foot for it's zoned heavy commercial industrial building, 10,080 square feet. It's a very, very nice building too. Overhead doors, high ceilings. Even the fence around it is plastic coated. This thing was built to last. It was the slab is an inch thicker than it should be. It's set up for three-phase power. But again, $42.56 a square foot, right off Metro, heavy commercial, nice industrial building. This won't last. You know, opportunities like this don't last forever. This will be a big time coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Knocks once.
Give us a call at 239-567-9838.
Okay, Sandy.
Just want to mention really quickly that this afternoon we'll be doing an open house in both our De La Salle and Saturnia Lakes homes. Both are beautiful pool homes, and would love to see everyone out there. Larger homes and great communities, wonderful amenities and low fees in both of these. So if you're interested in taking a look or come out and say hi, I'd love to see you. Give me a call at 239-595-0714. That's 1 to 4 today.
Okay. And real quick, I've got another investment opportunity. This is another duplex. It's a two-bedroom. It's a duplex of 2-bedroom, 1-bath units. The rent is $1,400 a month. And this is being offered at $149. This is not a short sale. It's not a foreclosure. In fact, the units have been recently updated, new kitchen, new bathrooms. I think even the septic is relatively new. There's quite a few new components to this building, and it cash flows. These are few and far between, folks. So if you'd like to see it or get more information, give me a call, 239-450-3000. And that about wraps it up for today. I want to thank everybody for listening. Catch us next week.
Be sure to listen to Real Estate Best Buys every Sunday morning at 10. Brought to you by the law offices of Mark L. Shapiro. In the meantime, if you need help buying or selling property on Marco Island, be sure to call Jeff Popick of Marco Island Realty, 239-450-3000. That's 239-450-3000. For help in Naples, call Sandy Pastoor of Prudential Florida Realty at 239-595-0714. That's 239-595-0714. And for all your real estate needs in Lee County, call Jeff Tumbarello of Steel Bridge Realty, 239-567-9838. That's 239-567-9838.
Hi, folks. Jeff Popick here. If you're looking to purchase a Best Buy in real estate, whether a home, condo, lot, or commercial property, you should know that it costs you nothing to have an insightful and experienced realtor work for you and represent you. I have been an active real estate investor spanning almost 3 decades and also have my real estate license to help other people achieve their goals too. My specialty is representing buyers on Marco Island and in Naples. Find Real Estate Best Buys. I'm Jeff Popick of Marco Island Realty, and I invite you to call me without any obligation to discuss how I can help you too. Call 239-450-3000 anytime to speak with me personally about how I can help you achieve your real estate goals. That's 239-450-3000.